At Harrison, staying ahead of the competition with new technologies has always been our strong point. Our newest large format console, the MPC5, incorporates all of our new film mixing facilities and is the most advanced digital film console available. Feature film sound has evolved over the years, but most would agree that it has lagged behind technologies such as 3D picture. Dolby Atmos is something new. Atmos provides immersive sound that draws theater goers into the action without needing 3D glasses. Atmos achieves this by defining sounds as objects in physical space, which are then rendered on the fly to the theater's available speakers. Because object panning works best with many discrete speakers, more than a typical home can accommodate, it is suited to larger theater spaces. It provides a noticeably better experience than viewers can achieve at their homes. Object-based panning allows mixers to break free of the limits imposed by traditional channel-based panning. This presents an incredible new opportunity for theaters and mixers who are making sounds for theater releases. To harness this incredible opportunity, you need to adopt the new technology without disrupting your existing workflow. Because object panning works best in large theaters, it is best when mixed on a dubbing stage, the environment where you will likely find a Harrison console. Harrison has been entrenched as the leader in film mixing since the first PP1 film console was installed at Disney in 1979. Because Harrison focuses on film mixing, our customers depend on us to solve problems that come with new technologies. We set out to develop the most fluid and thorough Atmos implementation possible so you can painlessly adopt Atmos into your workflow. Here's how Atmos works. Instead of feeding speakers directly, the MPC5 feeds the Dolby Atmos rendering unit, also known as the RMU. Because of structural, budget, and aesthetic differences, theaters often have different speaker configurations. The Dolby Atmos RMU is a hardware processor that is configured with the theater's speaker setup. It accepts multi-channel audio and renders it for the theater's speaker arrangement. The audio channels from the console are split into two groups. The first 10 channels are a standard cinema mix in a 9.1 layout, which are fed directly to the speaker outputs. In this diagram, we are showing a 5-channel speaker setup for simplicity. The MPC5 can provide a 10-channel mix directly from our motorized panner, using our existing 16-wide panning architecture. You will notice that because of the limited speaker locations, it is not possible to accurately locate the bird in the rear channels. It would be nice if theaters had more speakers, but if every theater has a slightly different speaker layout, what happens if our sound's channel isn't connected to a speaker? Dolby Atmos solves this problem by using the remaining 118 inputs on the RMU as object channel inputs. Object panning is fundamentally different than channel-based panning. Instead of defining speakers and sending signal to them, we define sound objects in 3D space. These objects get rendered on the fly when they are played in the theater. The Harrison MPC5 can treat every channel as an object with its own X, Y, Z position in the room. You can use motorized panners to manipulate the objects. You can also select a group of objects from the screen and spill them into the faders without having to know which playback machine they came from. The Object Pan page uses our patented waveform data to determine whether a ball should be shown for the object. Because this display is based on our patented waveform technology and not live meters, it even works when the transport is stopped. This allows you to manage each sound in the room as a discrete object. Let's enable Atmos for this channel. The MPC automatically disconnects the track from our internal buses and redirects the audio over to one of the RMU channels. It also communicates the object's 3D location to the RMU via Ethernet. The RMU then uses the object's metadata and its knowledge of the room's speaker layout to map the sound to the nearest speakers. This provides an excellent localization of the sound in the theater. The Dolby Atmos application screen shows a simple representation of the room's speaker layout. The screen also shows a 3D representation of any active objects in the room, and has simple metering for the 9.1 cinema speaker layout. Finally, the Dolby Atmos screen shows the 118 available Atmos channels in the top left corner. In this example, we've assigned one channel so that one of the circles is lit green. While the Atmos engine only has 118 channels available for objects, the MPC-5 auto-assigns objects on the fly, allowing you to engage any channel without having to worry about which Atmos objects are already in use. Atmos provides some additional features beyond an object's X, Y, and Z position. When we switch a channel to Atmos, the additional parameters appear in the MPC-5's panner display. For instance, objects have a size control. This affects how many speakers will recreate the sound in the room. Note how the signal is spread across many more speakers when the size is increased. Atmos also provides an elegant way to automatically manage the object's height using the elevation mode. It's not always convenient to simultaneously adjust 3 coordinates for every object. Since the only speakers in the center of the room are overhead, it makes sense to automate the control of the height. Various elevation modes make this easy. For example, the sphere mode automatically pans the signal higher when it goes through the center of the room. This is great when combined with the 2D motorized joysticks of the MPC. A signal pan from front to back will fly over and behind the audience. Another option is snap. In this mode, the object isn't smoothly panned between speakers, but is instead sent only to the nearest speaker. By forcing the signal to come only from a single source, we can improve the localization and intelligibility of the sound. This is great for special effects that don't move, but need to be reproduced and clearly localized above and behind the audience. It's important to realize that a channel maintains its metadata whether Atmos is enabled or not. If Atmos is enabled, the RMU will render the signal in the extended set of speakers. If Atmos is disabled, then the MPC will render the sound in the speakers of the bed mix. While localization is best with the extended speakers of the Atmos system, the artistic intent is preserved using this method. The MPC-5 uses the channel's pan location to define its position. Let's compare this with the plug-in method of controlling Atmos. The Atmos pan location doesn't match the main channel panner and can't be controlled by the channel's main pan controls, even if you are using a control surface. The speaker outputs from the RMU provide filtering, level trims, metering, and 5.1 fold downs, but the only way to address those speakers is by using the Atmos object panning. We anticipate that our users will want to reuse some of the same speakers in other extended panning formats, so we've expanded our already best-in-class monitoring system to accommodate all of the inputs and outputs of the RMU, and treat them as a part of our film monitoring system. This new 64-wide monitoring system provides level trims, mute, solo, and metering for 64 speaker outputs. For customers without a Harrison console, this monitoring system is also available as a standalone product called the MC². A graphic EQ with polarity and crossover filters may be inserted in each speaker's output chain. You can configure as many EQs as needed for your system. The global bypass allows you to fold down the Atmos elements into traditional formats as a safety copy. For the purposes of archiving and multi-language dubbing, it is important to render the stems to traditional formats. The MPC-5 provides enough buses and track controls to record M&E stems, as well as additional stems for the object channels that are being rendered by the RMU. Atmos solves a lot of problems, but like any new technology, it presents a new set of challenges. Pre-dubs are an important part of the feature film workflow. The MPC-5 provides a mechanism to make pre-dub stems for the Atmos and non-Atmos elements of your mix. The Atmos audio streams can be redirected into a dedicated track recorder. Because the MPC-5 has dynamically allocated the objects, the resulting tracks are checkerboarded to make the best use of the Atmos channels, leaving more objects free for later mixing. The RMU reflects metadata back to all the client machines, so an Atmos stem recorder utilizing the Atmos plugin can record the metadata as well as the audio tracks, if you choose to work that way. When the Atmos stems are played back, the MPC can dedicate channels to those Atmos objects, so they won't be dynamically reassigned. In the final stages of mixing, the dynamic channel assign becomes very important. You have to maximize the use of any remaining Atmos channels that aren't reserved by predubs. When creating the print master for Atmos, the RMU records the bass mix, the object channels, and the panning metadata into a deliverable file. Facilities are still developing a workflow that best suits them for Atmos. This is where Harrison really shines. Because our ICAS software was explicitly developed for customization, you don't have to wait on an extended development cycle to adapt the console to emerging workflows. Harrison can do that for you. Harrison has been the gold standard console on the mixing stage for over 35 years. The MPC5 bridges workflows of the past, present, and future. Our extensive Atmos compatibility ensures that a Harrison MPC5 is the perfect choice for mixing in this exciting new format.